Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So looking around the outside, you can tell it's sunny out. And you would not know that last night was horrific weather for a lot of people where I am in the Gulf Coast and the Panhandle of Florida, and also through Texas and Louisiana and other places. So our schools here let out 2 hours early yesterday because of the risk of severe weather. We had tornado warnings, hail warnings, all kinds of stuff. Where I happen to be, it seemed like everything skirted around us. We got really strong winds up to 40 miles an hour, some rain, but no tornadoes touched down where I was. There was no hail where I was. But other states and cities and places were not so lucky, I guess you could say. In Louisiana and Texas, they both had tornadoes touch down and severe weather. Tornado with 115-mile-per-hour winds ripped off roofs and tore down power lines in Lake Charles, Louisiana yesterday. Then in New Orleans, or Nolans, however you're supposed to say it, flash flood emergency was in effect because, New Orleans likes to flood for some reason. So they had that yesterday. Then in Houston, Texas, an EF1 tornado touchdown. You had there were tornado touchdowns in the Gulf Coast, I think to the north of Panama City, if I'm correct. I was watching the Weather Channel last night until I fell asleep, and they were talking about multiple tornadoes. There were 2 confirmed tornadoes in Indiana. So that was a couple days ago, not yesterday. But either way, there's been a lot of really wonky, severe weather the last couple of days. Last week, tornadoes went through Ohio Valley last week. You had flooding. You have the tornadoes and the hail and the strong winds through Texas, Louisiana, Florida. Moving up into Georgia last night and today, they were worried about that, but no tornadoes. But it's just been absolutely crazy with the weather. So hopefully, if any of you Squirrel Tribers happen to be in the area that those storms went through, I hope everybody was safe, stayed safe, your homes and things are intact, and everybody is good to go. It has been, like I said, crazy. And now it's going to be, let's see, yesterday was warm, and then out of nowhere, it got just, crazy windy. And then today it's in the mid 70s, and then the weather starts to go almost to the 80s in the next 5 or 6 days, like nothing ever happened. The bipolar weather is absolutely ridiculous. It's been a lot for a lot of people. Now, not completely off topic, but kind of sort of off topic. I wanted to talk about a couple of different states that I think are important. Okay, it's completely off topic. We're moving completely, but it's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. But the weather was first and foremost. So I've always been curious how taxes work. And that sounds extremely ignorant and stupid when I say it that way, but I've never understood why you are taxed on your paycheck, okay? They take taxes out of your paycheck. Then when you go to buy anything, you get taxed on the things that you buy. You buy a car, you get taxed on the car. You go get the tag, you get taxed on the tag. You buy fuel, and technically there's fuel tax that, like, whatever. You're taxed on every single thing for your entire life. It makes absolutely no sense, which is why a lot of people move to states that don't have state income tax because, Florida, there's no state income tax. And there's other states that are like that because it helps keep some money in your pocket, right? Well, I was curious and I was Googling things trying to figure out who pays the most taxes. And I came across an article on USA Today in their little money segment section. And there is one state, y'all, the numbers here are like friggin' astronomical. In your lifetime, okay, now this is in your lifetime. I don't know if they're considering that from like 16 to 62, 18 to 62, which I think 62 might be the first year you can retire and get some Social Security back. I think it's 62. I don't think it's before that. I know it seems like they keep pushing it back more and more, but I think maybe this is from 16 to 62 because it doesn't specify the age range. But according to this, in a lifetime of taxes, there's one state that pays almost $1 million in taxes, just in taxes. And the odds that you ever see that $1 million coming back to you, zero. I mean, I'm not even going to say microscopic or small or whatever. It's zero. You're never going to get your $1 million back in the taxes that you have paid, right? So according to this article from USA Today, because it's interesting to me, tax day is approaching. April 15th is the day everybody's supposed to file their taxes. A lot of people will be asking for extensions this year, I'm pretty sure. But with tax day approaching, the average American pays $524,625 in taxes in their lifetime. Are you effing kidding me? A lot of people pay more in taxes than they will ever take home. It's unbelievable to me. Now, this is in your lifetime. If it was like in a year or two, that would be awful. But in your lifetime. This is the average American, right? The report also ranks states on lifetime tax costs. If you live in the Northeast, you may want to sit down for this. When I read that, I knew, like New York and places like that are expensive, but I literally thought that like the Pacific Northwest and all the way down the West Coast was going to be the most expensive, because California, hello, paying McDonald's burger flippers $20 an hour, they are obviously an expensive state. New Jersey coming in strong with how much they pay in taxes, which is absolutely, I would not have expected Jersey to be in the top. So New Jersey residents pay $987,117 in lifetime taxes. Why do you still live in Jersey? If any of you are in New Jersey, get the hell out. They're stealing your money. That is the highest tab in the nation. DC comes in second with a lifetime tax burden of $884,820. Connecticut and Massachusetts are third and fourth at $855,307 and $816,700 respectively. Connecticut and Massachusetts. The lowest state, or the lowest tax state, is West Virginia, with a lifetime cost of $358,407. I can guarantee you right now, people will be making a beeline to live in West Virginia. And that is the lowest state out of all of our grand United States where you pay the lowest amount of taxes. Now, this was all stuff this is like the most updated. This was done in February of this year. It considers taxes on income, homes, cars, clothing, food, drink, entertainment, and personal care, drawing from tax data and several research sources. This is including the American Community Survey and Consumer Expenditure Survey and Zillow, whatever. The lifetime tax figure of $524,625 works out to about 1/3 of the average American's lifetime earnings, which add up to roughly $1.5 million. So you are paying 1/3 of the money that you work your ass off for. You're paying 1/3 of that into taxes, because they overtax everything. They tax the money you earn, then they tax you on the money that you spend, and then they tax you on that. Why is this how we are being taxed? Like, the government is robbing us blind, and a lot of people are like, well, it's what you got to do. It's part of being an American. Fuck that, man. Like, we got to figure something out. We are being taxed to death. 1/3 of the money that you earn goes to the government, and it's not like the government's giving it back to you in your Social Security. It's not like the government is using it to fix the roads and keep our great nation up and running beautifully. No, they're using that money to send to Ukraine, to send to other places, to house illegal immigrants, to do all these other things. And we're paying it. We're footing the bill for everything that the government wants to do, shady or not, because look, they say that the money you pay in is for this. But we know good and damn well they stick their hands in that little cookie jar and move that money over there, and then they swirl it around, and it's constantly getting moved back and forth all over the place. They're playing chess, and like it feels like we're playing checkers, like trying to figure out how to live life while they're over there just biding their time, and stealing money from us left and right. American citizens, tax-paying American citizens. So there was that. I just thought that was extremely interesting, how much money our country, I'm going to use the word steals from us, because that's what it is. When you are taxed upon taxed upon taxed, triple taxation, I don't know if that's really a phrase or a word. That is a lot, just so we're all fully aware. Now, another thing I wanted to mention to you guys, this is kind of a smorgasbord of things. I have like 5 or 6 different things I want to talk about, and I figured we'd just cram them all into one and really get this Thursday up and running. So another thing I wanted to mention to you, do y'all remember that, I think it was Verizon commercial where the guy was like, can you hear me now? Or do you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Pretty sure it's can you hear me now? So that used to be a huge thing, and people would call each other and be like, can you hear me now? Like as a joke or whatever. Well, there's scammers out there that do this on a daily basis, not as a joke, but to scam the crap out of you. They call and say, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Blah, blah, blah. And the second you say yes, they hang up, because they don't care if you can hear them. All they needed was for you to say yes. I have been trying to teach my daughter this, because she's got a phone. Her friends call her, but she gets robocalls every once in a while, because everybody gets these random calls. I have taught her, if you do not know the number, do not pick it up. If you do end up picking up a phone number and you don't know who the person is, you never say yes, you never say no. You never give definitive answers to anything, and most of the time you just hang up on them, okay? And then give me the phone number so I can figure out who the hell they are and why they're calling you. So this is important for everybody. My mom needs to understand this. My mother-in-law needs to understand this. Y'all need to understand this. Everybody needs to understand this. Never say yes or no on the phone. I don't care who you're talking to, unless of course it is your spouse or your family, your friends that you know for a fact are them, because with AI and technology, they can change voices and do all kinds of crap these days. So, and people suck. And I mean that as nicely as possible, but a lot of people truly suck. Their whole existence is to take advantage of other people. So make sure you're very smart with this. So what these people are doing, they are calling and they will ask you some random question. They will pretend to be your bank. They will pretend to be your gym membership place, your gym. They'll pretend to be your kid's daycare. They'll pretend to be all these different things. And they'll ask you questions that they are hoping to get a definitive yes or no response from, because then they can take your yes and they can use it somewhere else. They can use it to call your bank and then answer questions with a yes. Same thing, y'all, we've talked about when you see these stupid surveys on like Facebook and places. One went up yesterday, I saw, that was like, oh my gosh, we're having a little girl and we want like a really good grandmother name. What's your grandmother's name? What would you name a little girl if you wanted a grandmother name? Y'all, that's somebody's like password, question, like your maternal grandmother's name. So when you answer these things, these hackers, these skeezy people are data piling all this stuff to figure out how to hack into your things. Now they're doing it voice-wise as well with these phone calls, with these scam calls, where if you say yes, they've got an easy in to other things. If you say yes one time, then they can turn that around and use it and say that they called you and asked if you wanted to sign up for a $1,500 a month, whatever else, and they have your verbal yes because they've taken it and put it to use wherever they needed it. Never say yes on the phone. I don't care. Say, uh-huh. Say, I guess so. Say anything you want to say. Do not say yes, because uh-huh and I guess so are not legally binding. Yes is legally binding. Do not say yes to anybody on the phone anytime whatsoever at all. Okay. Or no. They don't really specify saying no, but I feel like you shouldn't say yes or no. You need to find other ways or just hang up on people. Also, if you don't recognize numbers, I do not answer them. And it's not that I don't want to talk to people, because I love talking to people. I talk to y'all all the time. But do not answer them, because a lot of things also are, the second you answer the phone, it starts charging like these international data, whatevers. And even though you may hang up, if they don't hang up on their end somehow, I don't know how they have figured this out, it will just keep going and it will end up costing you so much money. So screen your phone calls. Never tell anybody yes or no over the phone. And share that information with your friends and family. You can share the video or you can just have the conversation. But either way, the conversation needs to be had with everybody, especially, and I'm just saying this nicely, older generations who aren't used to more of the technology or the scammers out there. So make sure you share that with everybody, because it's extremely important to know. And that is that. Now, I want to talk about Target real fast, because a lot of people have a hate-hate relationship with Target. Not a love-hate, just a hate-hate. But sometimes Target is someplace that needs to be gone to, depending on if you're in a emergency situation and you need feminine products or you need milk or you need whatever else, right? But Target, they are now, we talked about this, they have the self-checkout lanes. And just about a month ago, they decided to limit the self-checkout to 10 items or less. Did they employ more cashiers? No. Did they open up more registers? No. All they did was make it harder for you to get through the line if you're in a hurry. Self-checkout, 10 items or less. If you have more than 10, like if you have 11, you have to stand in line for a cashier. A lot of people prefer cashiers, but there are people who prefer self-checkout if they are in a hurry, if they have something they don't really want to have a conversation with somebody else about, because Target does carry personal, how to phrase, they carry like condoms and pads and tampons and things like that. But now they also carry like lubricants and whatnot, but now they also carry personal, satisfaction devices for women. That's the only way I know how to phrase that. I haven't seen anything for men, but I've seen the stuff on the shelves. Personal satisfaction devices that normally require batteries or charging for women. Not everybody wants to go through a lane and tell the 16-year-old, make eye contact with the 16-year-old while they're purchasing said battery operated whatever. Or they don't want to go through the line where their grandpa is working. So a lot of people prefer self-checkouts for numerous different reasons, just so we're all fully aware. But Target now, they're saying they're implementing this new thing called TruScan. It looks like TruScan, but it's TruScan. TRUSCAN, one word, TruScan. And what this is a technology to prevent theft in stores. Now, Target is implementing this. Walmart has their own kind of thing about it, but it is designed to detect if there's anything near a kiosk that has not been scanned. It will then release audio and visual cues if an item isn't scanned correctly. One of the technology's most critical functions will be to track people who have been flagged with improper scanning. Track people. They gave no extra information on what that means. I'm like, does that mean that all the cameras in the ceiling and everything zone in on you, or hone in on you, I think is the right word, and follow you towards the exit, and then the outside cameras pick you up and then follow you to your car, get your plate? Like, how is this tracking of people going to work? And if it's near a kiosk and you don't scan it, they're going to automatically start tracking you. Do you know how many times people are near a kiosk and they decide at the last second not to purchase something? Or a pack of gum falls down and it lands like right there, and then they don't pick it up and put it back. Like, I know that's like off topic or off possibilities, but it's not always off possibility. But that's the thing. Target is now going to be tracking their customers through the self-checkout, which in my opinion makes you definitely not want to go through self-checkout if you can avoid it, because it is a huge deal. And then they're talking about how Target spokesperson Brian Harper Tibaldo told USA Today in October that the retailer was testing out how limiting items at self-checkouts could add to a more positive customer experience by shaving off time. You know what doesn't add to a positive customer experience? Tracking your customers like they are everyday thieves, even though there is no proof that they are. So that's just another thing for people to think about when they go to Target and decide they want to go through self-checkouts. I can guarantee you, any place with a self-checkout has something along those lines. Target's just letting you know exactly what theirs is called, and that they're implementing it very, very soon in the very near future. So that is that. There's a lot more I want to talk to you guys about, but I have to potty. So I'm going to go inside now and use the restroom and get some groceries that I need, and I'll just see you guys again later, okay? I love you, Squirrel Tribe. Have a fabulous beginning to your Thursday, and I will see you later. Bye.